Welcome to Honest Hockey. Just two guys talking about all things hockey. Honestly. I'm Tom and he's Tom. Thanks for joining us today. So our first topic of discussion is going to be the Boston Bruins losing the series. We're going to kind of break down what kind of went wrong in the series, what they should do.
A lot.
Okay, that's true. What they're going to do, and a few other questions I have lined up.
Go ahead, shoot.
So first one is, what went wrong?
Just a little note to the audience. I asked before filming if I could do this segment in a Boston accent. I got heavily turned down.
Yes.
I don't know why. I do a wicked good Boston accent, but we'll save that for another show where we talk about the Bruins.
Okay.
What went wrong? A lot, like I said.
Yes.
First and foremost, they couldn't score.
No.
They got some scoring they needed out of Pasta, out of Marchand. I don't believe Bergeron scored a goal in the series. They lost one of the games like 7-1, and that was the main difference. Was Tampa could score. Tampa got great production from their top players, Kucherov, Point, and Hedman mainly.
Yes.
Stamkos didn't even play in the series.
Still out.
Still out. Yeah, hopefully maybe he comes back for the playoffs, but the way they're looking right now, they don't need him.
Exactly.
But the main difference here was that Tampa got so much secondary scoring from their role players, i.e., Yanni Gourde, Anthony Cirelli, really all their second, third, fourth line, and not top pairing defensemen.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Boston got goals from Jake DeBrusk, maybe Nick Ritchie before he tried to kill Yanni Gourde.
Nasty hit, that one.
Nasty hit, absolutely. But Boston couldn't score. That's the main thing.
Yeah.
We can talk about all we want that Tuukka went and left the bubble, which we fully understand, and we agree with his decision. We hope, the best to Tuukka, his daughter, and his family.
Exactly.
But, yes, that did put them already at a disadvantage, that they lost out on their number one goalie, and they had to start Halak for most of the puck. But Halak,
he played solid, but it wasn't enough.
It wasn't enough. That was obvious in Game 5, where Halak played really well, but Vasilevsky just played better.
Yeah.
Vasilevsky's a better goalie. He's Tampa's number one. He got them here, and they were already off to a disadvantage when we saw that it had to be Halak versus Vasilevsky for the series.
Exactly.
So you add together the fact that they couldn't score, you add together they had no goaltending, and you don't have a recipe for success.
Yeah, exactly. Completely agree on that. So kind of brings me to my next question is, do they get young? So kind of just talking about those type of big players on there that are kind of aging. Obviously, the elephant in the room is Chara, but we're going to kind of save him for a little bit later.
Okay.
It's kind of a separate question there.
All right.
So what do you think?
These hockey players fall off a cliff when they get older.
Yeah.
They'll be 30 goal scorers, and then they'll turn a certain age, and then they go, oh yeah. And I could see that happening. Boston is an old team.
Yeah.
They got
30 years.
30 years as
average age is 38.
That's got to be in the top half of the league.
Yeah.
They have some young players, right? They have Charlie McAvoy. They have Jake DeBrusk. They have Pasta. They have Brandon Carlo. They have a young core, per se, to build around. But let's not fool ourselves. Their best players are getting old fast.
Yeah.
You got Bergeron, who's 35.
Yes.
Krejci, 34.
Yes.
Marchand, 32. Tuukka, 33. Chara,
I think he
like 100?
43.
43, give or take. That's close.
Yeah. So, do you start trading those assets off then? They're getting old.
This is the problem. Problem here is that Krejci's contract is up after this year. Yeah. So, after 2020, 2021.
Correct.
So, I think they start the season looking like the Bruins team that we just saw.
Yeah.
They may trade Krejci at the trade deadline, see if they can get anything for give him to a team as a rental, because they're not giving him another contract once he turns 35 and is up for a new deal.
Okay.
Bergeron, I believe, has 2 more years left on his contract. I kind of say the same thing. I say go for it 1 more year with the current way they have their core right now. Yeah. If anything, trade Bergeron when he has 1 year left on his contract. Maybe if he has another, 30 goal, 75 plus point season, then his value will be high, and you can get something for a guy who's going to be at that point 36, pushing 37, going into the last year of his deal.
Yeah.
Marchand is the interesting one.
Yes.
I kind of think Marchand is a product of Boston. I don't know if he'll be good outside of Boston. I don't really know why he's good in general. I don't know what the licking laws are outside of Massachusetts.
Yeah, maybe they're a little different.
Yeah, he might be in some legal trouble with his antics. But he is signed for a boatload more years, if I'm not correct.
Yeah, his contract was 8 years. So.
Yeah, so he's got like 4 or 5 more years probably left on that deal. I would try and get out of that deal as fast as I can.
Okay.
I don't know who's going to take that deal. You might have to add a sweetener because Marchand is one of those players that I think once he hits that certain age, he's going to fall off.
Yeah.
And I think you would rather get rid of a player a year early than a year too late, which pretty sure is Bill Belichick quote, which New Englanders, Boston fans, you're well aware of that quote, and get rid of Marchand before it's too late, before that contract becomes an albatross, and before it's unmovable.
Yeah. So then...
Not to mention, Torrey Krug, sorry to cut you off.
Okay, go ahead.
Torrey Krug is a free agent this year,
Okay.
and Torrey Krug is one of the most important pieces to their defense, and I don't think they're going to re-sign Torrey Krug. I think he's going to hit the open market, and I think he's going to probably command around 6 for 30. 6 years, $6 million, so like 6 for 36 probably.
Yeah.
And that'll be a big loss to the Tampa Bay Blue Line, to the Boston Blue Line. And we'll see. It's going to be a similar looking team that we saw, at least for the first half of next year, whenever the next year starts. It's going to be a similar looking team, but it's not going to be the same. And I would probably say this time next year, it'll be a completely different looking team.
So then, Chara. Does he retire? Does he sign another contract with them? Does he go to another team? Does he pull a Yager? What do you think? I personally feel he retires. I think he's done. He's won a cup. I think it's time to go. 43 years old, the oldest player in the league right now, active. And I think it's just time.
So it's kind of similar, but not really similar, to what the Rangers are dealing with Henrik Lundqvist right now.
Yeah.
Not Yager. Chara is like 7 years older.
Yeah, he's not that old, but he's old.
It's weird to think about.
Yeah.
But Chara had a very big diminishing role on the team this year. I haven't checked the stats. I'm just going from what the eye test. I think he was averaging probably 10 to 13 minutes a night on ice, especially during the playoffs. I don't really want to see him playing for another team.
Yeah.
Outside of the Boston sweater with the spoked wheels.
Yes.
The bees with the spoke logo. But I also do think he retires.
Okay.
I think he wants to end his NHL career with Boston. He wants to see his North American hockey career into the sunset, come back for his Hall of Fame induction. I could see him pulling a Yager and going to play in like the Czech league.
Of course, yeah.
Or going to play over in Europe because he probably still has that desire to play.
Yeah, I don't think he obviously stops playing hockey. I think he just stops playing in the NHL.
Right, yeah. I would also agree that he retires from the NHL, goes to play over in Europe, gets his jersey number retired at TD Garden, Bruins legend.
Yeah, of course.
Hall of Famer, and it's just you can't really blame him for his lack of skills at this age. He's 43 years old.
He's old.
He's old.
So
not to offend anyone out there, he's not old. He's old in hockey sense. He's old in sports sense.
So then, with him retiring, who gets that infamous C? Because there's many people, but if you start to move assets in the next couple of years, you don't want to award someone the C, and then all of a sudden you just kind of rip it away from them because you trade them away or wherever they hit the market or something. So,
yeah. I mean, the Rangers did that during the beginning of their rebuild. It felt like they got a C and then traded the person who had the C every year.
So I'll say, I personally think that no one gets a C. If obviously he retires, I think they kind of keep it clean slate. What do you think?
I respectfully disagree.
Okay.
I think the C has to go to the Cold Bruin, the Boston Bruin, David Pastrnak.
Okay, yeah.
He is clearly the best player on the team. He is clearly a top 10 player in the NHL, and he clearly deserves the C.
Now, but over everyone else?
Yes.
Okay.
But also, I'm putting into the factor of that I'm not giving it to Marchand and Bergeron because me personally, if I am Don Sweeney, Cam Neely, and the boys club that run the Bruins, I'm trading those guys.
Okay.
So I'm giving it to the guy who's on the team-friendly contract, locked up for years to come, who is a top 10 player in the league, who you know will be there through everything. He's the one getting the seat. So it's a logical choice for me to be David Pastrnak.
Yeah, I would say I agree with that. I just don't think they give him right now. I think for maybe 1 or 2 years, no one's kind of how the Rangers are kind of flowing right now, and there's a lot of rumors of Mika kind of getting in and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But I think no secret now. And then he definitely deserves it. I think, obviously, you kind of want that person to be that staple and everything like that and have someone locked down in a long time.
Yeah, I mean, it's become, I guess, more allowed in the league to run the no captain.
Yeah. Very interesting.
I still, even with that, would give it to Pastrnak. I would be like, sorry, Patrice, sorry, Brad. The young 24-year-old stud is getting it.
Okay.
I would also consider giving it to McAvoy. But McAvoy would be a far number 2 on my list. Mm-hmm. It's going to Pasta first, McAvoy second. Eventually, you would wait until you ship off the old guys.
Of course.
I would do it tomorrow because I think he deserves it. He's proven it. And if I was a Bruins fan, I'd be pretty angry with the play of Patrice Bergeron in the playoffs. So I'd be like, nah, sorry, you're not getting the seat just because you didn't score. And, Pasta was unfit to play, and he still scored a couple goals in the series. So, to me, David Pastrnak, top 2 nickname in the league, gets the C as soon as the new league year opens.
Okay.
And, well, Chara retires first. That kind of
has to happen first. So
this could all be a moot point if they give it to Chara. If Chara re-signs like a 1-year deal and he comes back and then he's still the captain, then on next year's episode of Honest Hockey, we'll talk about who gets the C.
Exactly. Yep. I know, that's crazy, right? Who's that?
Hello? What do you mean Zdeno Chara committed to the 2020-2021 season with the Bruins? You realize we just did an entire segment on our latest video on this. Chara's back! He literally just made our video. We'll call you back.
I don't know. Let's hold up. I think he still retires. Just because he's committing to a team does not mean that the team's going to want him back.
You're absolutely right. But he committed to the team. We just made a video on it. What are we going to do?
My hot take is he's retiring.
My hot take is David Pastrnak still gets the captain even if Chara's there. Because he was selfish and he's coming back for a season at 44 years old. Thanks for watching this episode of Honest Hockey. Give us a like if you enjoyed and don't forget to cross-check that subscribe button. I'm Tom. He's Tom. We'll catch you next time.